I still remember the way he smiled when he blew out his birthday candles. 5 candles. 5 years of watching him grow, of hearing him call me dad. 5 years of believing he was mine. My son. The house was full of laughter that day. Balloons tied to chairs. Kids running through the backyard. Frosting smeared on cheeks. My wife, Anna, had gone all out for the party. She always did. She said birthdays were sacred, a celebration of life and love. I was setting up a piñata when Anna asked me to check the emails for the confirmation from the magician we hired. She'd forgotten her phone inside, and mine was closer. We shared everything, emails, calendars, photos, never had a reason not to. So I opened our shared inbox on my phone, typed birthday into the search bar. The magician's email was there, but something else caught my eye. A forwarded email from a clinic. Subject, paternity test results, confidential. My hands went cold. I hesitated, but then I tapped it open. Inside was a PDF, and in big, clinical, soul-crushing letters, probability of paternity, 0%. I didn't blink, didn't move. I could still hear kids yelling outside, the song playing from the speakers. Someone was laughing, and I just stood there, staring at the screen, feeling the ground dissolve beneath me. When the big day finally came, I was buzzing with excitement. We'd rented out a local community center, decorated it with blue and green streamers, his favorite colors, and ordered a custom cake shaped like a dinosaur. Elliot loved dinosaurs. He could name more species than I ever could at his age. We invited close friends, neighbors, and some of Mia's family. Everyone showed up, smiling, bearing gifts, singing to our son. It should have been perfect. Until I saw the cake. It had a photo printed on it, one I hadn't approved or even seen before. It showed Elliot in the park, sitting on a man's shoulders. Not me, not any relative I recognized. The man had a beard, sunglasses, and an arm around Elliot like he'd done it 1,000 times before. I blinked, thinking it must be some trick of the icing, maybe a bad print job. But no, this wasn't me. I asked Mia about it casually, trying not to let my voice shake. "Where'd you get the photo?" She froze, just for a second, just long enough. "Oh, that? I think your mom sent it," she lied. "My mom doesn't use email or a smartphone." I didn't say anything then. The guests were arriving. Elliot was laughing. The room was filled with joy. I couldn't ruin it. I wouldn't. So I smiled, took photos, handed out slices of cake. But in my chest, something cracked. Quietly. That night, after the guests had gone, and Elliot was tucked into bed with a new plush triceratops, I sat alone at the kitchen table. The photo on the cake kept looping in my head like a broken reel. I told myself I was being paranoid, but my gut had already decided something wasn't right. Mia was in the shower when I remembered something. We had a shared email account we used for bills and school registrations. It wasn't often checked, mostly automated stuff. But she had used it recently to send the guest list to the venue. That gave me a reason to log in, an excuse, even if just to myself. I opened the inbox. At first, it was the usual: energy bills, PTA reminders, store promotions. I almost gave up. Then I saw it, an automated hotel receipt, dated 2 months ago. 2 nights at a coastal resort 3 hours from our home. King bed, room service, 2 breakfasts. The email subject line read, "Thank you for your stay, Ms. Mia Carson." I stared at the screen, reading the email again and again, hoping I had missed something. But there was no mention of a work trip, no conference name, nothing professional about it. Then I opened the attached invoice. It had 2 guests listed. One of them wasn't me. I didn't sleep that night. At 3:17 a.m., I was still at the kitchen table, staring at the hotel invoice on my laptop screen. My coffee had gone cold. The silence of the house felt like it was pressing in on me. When Mia walked in, half asleep and in her robe, rubbing her eyes, I didn't flinch. She blinked at the glow of the screen. "Babe, what are you doing up?" I didn't answer right away. I just turned the screen so she could see it. Her eyes narrowed. She stepped closer, her expression shifting from confusion to alarm. "What is this?" "You tell me," I said calmly, too calmly. I think it scared her more than if I had shouted. She swallowed. "It's not what it looks like." Those words, every cliche I'd ever heard in movies. I didn't expect her to actually say them. "Then explain," I replied. She hesitated, then sat across from me, folding her arms. "It was a weekend away with friends," she said. I needed a break." I pointed to the line that said, 2 guests, 1 king bed." "Did one of your friends sleep on the floor?" Her jaw tightened. The silence that followed was the loudest sound in the room. Finally, she whispered, "It was a mistake." I didn't ask who he was. I didn't want to know. Not yet. I only asked one question. "Is Elliot mine?" She looked up sharply, eyes wide. "Of course he is. I swear to God, Lucas, he's yours." But the fact that I had to ask, that she hesitated before answering, that told me more than her words ever could. I stood up, walked to the hallway. "I'll sleep in the guest room," I said. Her voice cracked behind me. "Lucas, please, don't do this right now. We can fix this." But I was already gone. The next morning, I called in sick to work, not because I was physically unwell, but because I knew I couldn't sit through meetings pretending everything was fine. I spent the day walking, just walking. Through our neighborhood, past the park where Elliot learned to ride his bike, past the corner cafe where Mia and I had our first date. By sunset, I found myself at a clinic, a DNA testing facility. The receptionist didn't ask questions, just handed me a form and explained the process. That night, I told Mia I wanted a paternity test. I watched her flinch like I'd slapped her. "You don't trust me," she said. "I don't trust anything anymore." We scheduled the test for the following week. Until then, I went through the motions, making Elliot breakfast, driving him to school, reading him stories at night. But every laugh, every hug, it felt like a question I didn't know the answer to. The night before the results were due, I found Mia crying in our bedroom. "I was lonely, Lucas," she said. "You were always so calm, so steady, and I thought I needed more. Excitement. Someone who made me feel wild again. But it was stupid. It meant nothing." I didn't say anything. Because what could I say? She broke something that couldn't be fixed with apologies. The results arrived in a sealed envelope. I stared at it for what felt like hours, my hands trembling. Elliot was at school. Mia was at work. It was just me, in the silence of our kitchen, with a piece of paper that could redefine everything. When I opened it, I didn't need to read the whole report. Just one line stood out, bold and cold. Probability of paternity, 0%. I don't remember how long I sat there, maybe an hour, maybe more. I felt hollow, not angry, not even surprised, just numb. That evening, I waited for Mia to come home. I showed her the paper. She read it silently, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I didn't know for sure," she whispered. "I thought you might be his father. I wanted you to be." I nodded slowly. I raised him. I loved him. I still do. But I can't unsee this. We didn't fight. There was no yelling, no slammed doors, just quiet, steady unraveling. In the weeks that followed, we agreed to separate. We explained to Elliot that Daddy would be living in a new place, but would still see him all the time. Because no matter what that paper said, I was his father in every way that mattered, except blood. And he didn't need to know the rest. Not now, maybe not ever. It's been 2 years. Mia and I finalized the divorce with joint custody. Elliot lives with her during the week, and with me on weekends. We never told him the truth. Maybe one day, when he's old enough to understand the complexity of love and betrayal. But for now, he just knows I'm Dad, and honestly, that's enough. The pain never truly goes away. But over time, it becomes quieter, like an echo fading into distance. Sometimes, I still wonder what life would have been if she hadn't cheated. But then Elliot runs up to me with a laugh, throws his arms around me, and I know one thing for sure. Even if he wasn't mine by blood, he'll always be mine by choice.